Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? So, with this week's episode, we pretty much learned in Radiance that regardless of what, whatever, comes their way, they seemingly just go at it with, reckless abandon. Um, And it feels like that part of the show, is really fun to watch, but at the same time, it almost feels as if it's just part of their learning experience. Like, this really isn't the way that they're going to be probably all the time, you know? So, with watching them grow, throughout all these episodes and stuff, it's fun to know that there's a possibility that if they do become, any better at what they're doing, or they do start just getting so good that it doesn't even look like there's an effort really to it. We could be seeing quite a few doper moments from them in the sense of teaming up because this week's episode, they hunted down they hunted down the Nemesis, but at the same time, it's like with the Grimm showing up and him pretty much hunting, four or one more than them, it goes to show you just how strong that fool is completely. Like, not only was he hunting them, he was throwing them around casually and somehow ended up throwing them into the circle where the other ones are. And just like how Millie put a mark on him this week, I feel like he had either a mark on Seth or he just had a mark on all most of these nemesis, or he can sense them or something. Because for some reason he pretty much stated he's just because you went after these nemesis, you clearly wanted to see Grimm. So somehow, some way, he is easily capable of tracking these people, these nemesis. So he's kind of like a nemesis hunter. But we also know that he is looking for a certain something within a nemesis or something along those lines. Or he's looking for the right one. So when I hear that, it makes me think of, what could he actually be looking for type of deal. So if he is looking for something inside of one, I wonder which nemesis it's going to end up being because this week he just absolutely obliterates them. He even used a magical potion, it looked like, to maybe cause the explosion in the first place. I'm not sure, but it was pretty entertaining in my opinion because usually with shows like this they kind of refrain from showing the bad guy as much as possible just because. And I feel like because they didn't really shy away from bringing Grim back and straight up messing everything up. Um, it feels to me that they're not afraid of bringing in very powerful opponents or very powerful characters in general, and them just going straight in on people. So I love that aspect. The weird thing about this show though is a lot of the fighting always looks like shakes. Like every time they actually make contact with something or something happens within the contact, everything just shakes and I feel like that kind of hurts the fighting just a little bit, but regardless of that, it still is pretty fire. The one thing that's really noticeable that they keep showing us is that um, Seth's move, Titan Punch, is literally the same thing as these nemesis building up energy with the Fantasia. So the curse is literally directly connected to people who have made contact with nemesis, who have just been cursed by them in general. I mean, we had a kid this week snotting out purple stuff because he's that's his version of the curse. Some of them get disfigurements, and while others only get a little bit of something bad in the sense of I guess a sneeze. but he was wearing a lot of hats and like mask and stuff. I mean, it was probably because of the sickness for the mask, but the hat, I'm not so sure about. But one of my favorite things that happened, even though it was like pretty messed up, was the fact that Grimm straight up just bodies two guys for like no apparent reason that we didn't even see him like dealing with. They just kind of showed up and get bodied. I guess that was just their job in the anime. But because they got bodied, we got to see a very interesting technique that I don't really like. I really don't understand it, and at the same time, I really would never want to be a part of like the bad side of it, like going against it. This man put two people wrapped up in bandages inside of a coffin that when he opened the coffin, it looked like it led to another like it looked like there was a portal inside of there because all you can see is hands coming out, but no bodies connected to the hands. So if that is the case, we're looking at something like something super crazy in the sense of how much power it would take to like have a mini pocket dimension where you keep people in a coffin. Like that sounds super sketch, man. And not only was it super sketch, he literally is like talking to the people as they're pulling in their new victims, telling them to keep them, entertained or, take care of them like the others took care of you. So seemingly whoever the first person was in there didn't have anybody to take care of them. Unless he was like the first person in there to like just do some stuff to him while he was in there or something. I don't even know, man. That's why I said I don't want to know how this power works because it seems relatively brutal, and because of that, I'm not looking forward to seeing just what Grimm can do after this. It's like not only did you just pretty much show us that you're gonna body people, um, you also did it. He also did it like with like a. He seemingly was like happy about it. Like he didn't really care. He's like, "Oh, this should be fun, pretty much." And man, bro, like this is dark. Like just sucking into people that you've already pretty much written off for death. Not to mention he probably could have did that to Seth and the two people that he ran into, but for some reason he didn't have time. So I'm guessing they probably just got in his way mid doing something. One of the other things that really come to my mind at the end of this episode was just the fact of seeing the girl again, supposedly like playing the flute, but not doing anything, which was a little surprising. I didn't expect it to like I didn't expect the episode to end or to at least like have no conclusion of her, seeing how she was in the same position she was last week, like she literally showed up and did this exact same thing. And then that was the end of it, like it didn't make any sense why she wouldn't have had any type of dealing in this week's episode, but I guess it does make sense because we got introduced to a different main character who helped us get around in the town, and we found the people who it was the new people we met were the ones who actually sent out the list to be helped by the nemesis, and maybe she just isn't that important because I mean with Grimm around, you never know what the heck's gonna happen to people now. I feel like I like shows like that where they have someone who actually can take life, who actually has no real type of care in the world in the sense of, oh, if I kill somebody, they're gonna be real mad at me. Like he doesn't care. And because of that, it it makes it a lot easier to kind of see where he's coming from in the sense of like he clearly he's got some screws loose, just to be going out and feeling no type of anything for the people he's literally taking out. Um, I mean, we don't. I'm saying that from my perspective now because I mean, he could rip off the mask and rip off, the all the bandages and stuff like that, and be like, "I really feel bad when I kill these people." You never know with these freaking shows. I'll probably say something and they retcon it. It's the next episode. So, um, there was that where the wizards are, battling and trying to pretty much take on these nemesis, but there's also the magic, not magic, but the humans who hate sorcerers that are, running around, then they're supposedly trying to keep up with Seth right now and trying to find him. But not only that, we know Dragoon is here as well, and that's just a lot. That's a lot of firepower. That's all willing to go against Seth. So if he does end up in any type of trouble, I'm pretty sure he might end up fighting quite a few people and not even like knowing it, because he's gonna have to fight. He's gonna have to fight Grimm if Grimm shows up at the wrong time. He's gonna have to fight Dragonoff if Dragonoff actually finds him, because that's who he's looking for in the first place. He'll have to fight Comrade, because Comrade is like he just hates all sorcerers in general. um, And then the final person he would have to fight would be um, the person who is controlling, like blowing the whistle on the nemesis and stuff, and controlling them. So not only did they really set us up with something to like watch and enjoy, in the sense of like fights and monsters, they also set us up with something relatively dope. So I think this show is doing very well for just like the little bits that we are getting so far. I mean, this is episode 12 out of like 21, so they still have a good chance to like blow up like just a whole nother arc, because this feels like the longest thing that has happened practically, since no, this is definitely the longest thing. I'm pretty sure. So it's good to see that whatever this is, they're handling it quite well. Like I mean, besides me talking about the girl who's with the nemesis or whatever, like giving them orders, or at least just playing music at some time, then they wake up to it. Um, that was the only like real thing that I didn't understand, is why she didn't have a role yet. But that's understandable if they have something else planned for her. But let me know what you guys think. I'm going to be dropping another video relatively soon here, so if you did enjoy, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. And I am the Anime G. I hope you have a good day, night, evening, whatever the case is. And Joker for Smash. Alright, peace.